Welcome back, everybody, here to the Chinese qualifiers for TI4, where things are starting to heat up with a little bit of dunking, a little bit of burning, and, well...
a lot of dunking.
A lot of dunking.
That was like NBA Jam shit going on. That's... Yeah. Okay, are we jumping or something in the game or something? I thought you had something to follow up to say, but you just like...
No, I
left me hanging there.
I came up with something, but it was inappropriate for the live stream, so I decided to move on. Yeah, okay, so next game.
Okay.
CIS have shown us that they can play aggressive, they can play really damn well, pushing LGD to the limit and snapping them back. How do they approach game number 2? We get Ancient Apparition first one.
Yes.
Do we see them go back in? Because I've seen this first pick from them before. From them before. And it's done a very passive style, let's just win the game in late game strat.
I mean, here's the thing. As great as that victory was, and I'm sure CIS won over a lot of fans for that performance, what essentially happened is CIS snowballed, and anybody could snowball. I could jump in a pub game, and there could be Denny on the other side, and if I start the game 5-0 as the Queen of Pain, I could snowball. And I'm nowhere as good as Denny, so I feel that CIS could definitely take the game if they snowball again, but if it comes down to a well-coordinated 40-minute game, I think LGD's got it in the bag. So with that in mind, maybe CIS is going to draft more chaotic shit, like the Axe.
They should.
Yeah.
They really should. Like, this has always been one of those things which like teams have said time and time again about China. Adapting is really hard for them on the fly. So if you throw them like a curveball, like when you throw them something like Pudge, for example, you're just like, I have no experience how to play up against it.
Black face of Pudge, by the way.
He does. Hence I'm subtly putting it on the side.
Okay.
But if you have a hero like that, you split the lineup. And then you're like, wait, I'm not used to being hooked out in such a fashion. Like, I'm not used to like Clockwork hooking in or like someone jumping in to initiate on me. I'm not ready for this style of hero. And that's what CIS have to do. They have to bring LGD out of their comfort zone. Right now, though, CIS are walking into a comfort zone. Centaur and Ancient Apparition, but LGD is doing exactly the same thing. Clockwork and SK. It's double range initiation coming out from LGD, and a lot of control coming from them as well.
Yeah, I think the control factor for LGD is a lot more important because if you're looking for a chaotic team fight, Clockwork is the best hero to say, hold on guys, back off. You drop a cog, and either you call a couple heroes in with you, allowing your Burrow Strike to follow it up, or you just push everybody away.
Yep.
I feel that LGD has perhaps gotten scared from what they saw last game. They're like, all right, we'll calm things down. And we'll run the game slowly, which, again, I think LGD is the more experienced team. They would make less mistakes in a longer game, so they should take it. But it also comes down to draft. So we'll see if LGD can continue drafting well. And I got to say, I think Yao has definitely had the experience because before Yao, it was Xiao 8 on the team, and he was the mastermind. They call him Director 8, right? Because he was writing the scripts down, if you will. And I think Yao definitely learned a lot from him because rarely I see Yao have a poor draft. Yeah. It's always very well thought out, and let's see if he can continue to do so.
Yeah. So even the last game, I think you could have said like LGD had a really bad draft. Like it just snowballed against him.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, the silencer never really did much.
No,
I really think he should have got cursed, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's also like that's not even down to the draft. That's down to the execution of the draft.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like if Curse came out, then LGD would then CIS would have had very little mana to do really anything on that lane, and I would have been with you. That we could be looking at a very, very different game. But that's what it all comes down to in Dota. One decision can either make it or break it for you. Yep. In this case, kind of shattered the glass. But we get into our last couple of bans now. I'm really surprised that even like Naga Siren makes it through to the second banning phase and then banned out. Because CIS, they've been loving that hero to absolute bits. I just don't think they want to reveal anything right now. But LGD, like, we could be going back into another company zone. I'm now feeling getting a little melee heavy on this one. But Brewmaster for me is flagging very high for LGD.
Sure.
Because the control just over CIS and the ability to actually have Ancient Apparition mean nothing to him is just too good.
But at that point, maybe you're having a little bit too much control and a little bit too less damage. And that's how generally CIS draft, right? They have a Puck, they have a Clockwork, and then they have like a Rave King carrying. Game 2 coming back. So I think that can still work. But
you may actually have a Wraith King in this game.
No, they're going to go with Dragon Knight, which definitely give you the Beastmaster Roars, if you want to call that Dragon Tail, coming off at an 8-second cooldown, long range. Yep. Definitely still a good amount of control, but he gives you late game carry power ability, it gives you a frontline tank, he gives you tower pushing, and I think he's just more well-rounded as a hero compared to Brewmaster. But I definitely see Brewmaster as a great hero in his own right.
In this game, though, there's just no space for him anymore. Because LGD is just missing their _1 core and their secondary support hero. But with their lineup, like, we've already drafted 3 strength heroes.
So Timbersaw?
No.
In the mid lane against a DK? I mean, Rolling Death is going to...
Oh, you're talking about CIS?
Yeah, CIS.
I would have actually put the Centaur up against the DK.
1v1.
Yeah, well, I've already seen a Centaur versus a Brewmaster today.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, maybe that could be a possibility. That frees up your other lanes a little bit more. Be right, Tim. No. It's CIS doing their thing. They'll be picking up the puck. So again, you're right. Like, we see a lot of control, some good AOE stuns, but there's no straight DPS.
Well, Centaur gives you some.
That's true. He does give you some, but if LGD pick up something like a Chen here, or some healer, like they even grab themselves a Dazzle. Oh, he is banned. But if they grab themselves a Chen here, there'll be so much stability in this LGD lineup that unless CIS are walking around with like Medusa 6-slotted, like they might have enough damage for everybody. I'm thinking Medusa because you can split shot everybody.
Yeah. Also the other thing about the 2 picks so far, or even the 3 picks, they're all magical damage. So if LGD ever gets to the point where they 3 BKB on the course, Clockwork, Dragon Knight, and whatever, maybe Luna as the last pickup, and triple BKBs. CIS is really in trouble. That
Luna pickup, you are so right on that one. If that does come in, I almost want to call GG off the back of the draft straight away.
Okay, there's a Morphling. All right, there's some physical damage coming in.
But this is too late if it's a Luna. Like, the Morphling is going to get shut down in positioning if it's going to be a Luna. The upside is, though, LGD have very little control over the Morphling. They don't have enough like stuns, but if you're going to go for like the pushy kind of lineup where you have like these big tanky heroes on the front lines and then you throw like you're pushing Powell, which is a Luna, into the mix-up, then it's going to melt down towers and Morphling's going to get zoned out.
Yeah.
And the same thing will happen for the Puck. And Puck hates glaives. The second a glaive hits him, it's like, shit, can't blink dagger. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, I got hook shotted. Damn it to hell. Life gets really, really difficult. And even then, like, what are you going to do when you get into the later portion of the game and Rubik starts fighting the ability to steal Morphling's morph? If he can do that, you've technically got 4 strength heroes for LGD that you've got to get through.
The only downside to picking a Morphling, and I do think that Morphling is still a great choice, is that... Sorry, not Morphling. The Luna.
Yeah.
Is that the Morphling could steal the Luna. Get their entire team a ton of damage.
But the Morphling can also steal the DK right now. If he gets into a Frost Dragon form, that's going to cause
even
an
AC. Yeah. I guess that's why Morphling is picked up as not exactly a counter, but you know, something in the game against the DK. But yeah, we'll have. I mean, LGD has their definite choice of whatever carry they want.
Actually, they could actually do something else, which it won't matter what he steals. And I'm thinking Lone Druid is the last one.
Okay.
So you're not going to be able to replicate the bear.
The thing about Lone Druid is he generally just wants solo experience. I guess you could put DK safe lane, Clockwork mid, and Lone Druid off lane. But they're going to go for the Weaver, which Lin played decently well, and I think in the first game it was.
Yep. He ended up getting this really early Lincoln, so it was like, okay, cool. Like, you couldn't touch him. That was their Weaver from LGD.
The dangerous about a Weaver pick is that CIS has nothing but nukes right now. You could just get your Weaver bursted down. Lincoln doesn't block it, blink Hoof Stomp. Yeah. Hoof Stomp is not targeted.
And they got the best control as well in the early game because you got the puck, like if he gets a blink dagger into a silence, Weaver can't do anything with his abilities. Yeah. Because he won't have his Lincolns and he won't have his BKB.
Oh, I love this. And here comes that early game silence we talked about a little bit earlier.
I'm wondering though if this, like, okay, now, laning wise. Talk to me laning wise, man. Is this a Skywrath off with the AA and the Morphling together? Or do they just play it safe? Because the offlane from LGD is Yao. He's already going to have a hard enough time in the bottom lane. Does CIS just go, you know, I think we can get a couple of kills on Yao? That's fine for us. Do they accept that?
I think if you pick Skywrath, you're looking for kills early.
I think you crashed again.
Prepare for battle.
No, I'm fine.
For some reason, it doesn't let Lumina sound on the draft screen. The computer, there's something seriously wrong with it. Just reconnecting.
I'm getting close to Dota 2.
All right. Cool. Yeah, but okay, so think like okay, it's gonna be a safe lane. It's gonna be safe lane demons.
For the Morphling, you're saying?
No, for the Skywrath. I want to know where the Skywrath would end up. Like, would you try and go aggro? Would you try and shut down the Weaver? Because we know Rabbit, who's playing the Weaver in this game, is going to get a lot of farm, a lot of space, and June can do nothing against him.
I guess the upside you could say to yourself is that Weaver is one of those heroes, like you said, that needs so much farm before he gets off the ground. So even if you're not fighting him early, you have a lot of opportunity to send your Skywrath mage up and start, what is it called? Ancient Seal? I think that's the...
Ancient Seal?
Yeah, the name of his silence.
Yep.
And the cool thing is that it comes off in such of a instant cast, almost. So it really sets up of your other stuff.
He's actually like, what's the animation for that? I don't even think that, I haven't even seen
I think
one.
he like raised his staff up or something, but it's like really, really short.
Yeah. So you're able to get an instant silence off, then the concussive shot, which was also buffed up recently.
Yeah.
So normally a hero who is so quick at moving can't move at all. Yeah, that's just not a situation you want to be in as a Weaver.
An early game, if you're Clockwork and you jump in, you cog, that's a free setup ultimate for Mr. Skywrath Mage.
Black just got the worst possible thing that could happen to him in the middle lane. One, he lost his block. Two, an invis room was picked up by DD underneath the vision of the Observer Ward. So he knows he can't come in close.
Yep. Well, that's better than not knowing you can't come in close.
That's true.
Yeah.
But then again, like, okay, he doesn't have waveform because he went actually, look how much agility he's got. He's got like 400 life points. He is so far out that if DD does get this Burrow Strike off, and there is even like Breed Fire in range,
he's not going to die, but, you know.
The Burrow Strike will hit here.
Yeah, okay. They're going to Dragon Tail. He's immediately strength morphing, which, I mean, they're fine with.
Yeah.
You can strength morph.
He burned through half of his mana. He can't waveform now, even if he does hit level 2.
And I think once DK hits level 3, he's going to put that rank into Flame Breath and shoot one at the freaking Morphling.
Just try and zone him out. DD could even have a little bit of a wander underneath that tower, as long as he doesn't take the aggro.
Yeah.
He could do
Burrow
that.
Strike? Well,
He's in range for it, but the DK is too far away. So he just Burrow Strikes and erases Black back, but that means now all the stuns are gone from the SK.
Yeah.
And they're rotating the Ancient Apparition over. This starts to give me flashbacks to games from the older Rock's Kiss. Like, Goblack would just walk in with an Ancient Apparition and go, my mid lane's losing, I'll just give him Chilling Touch so we can catch up. But you sack your Ancient Apparition to do such a thing.
Yeah, he's essentially wasting a minute walking to the mid lane and then back from the mid lane, and he's not getting experience.
Yeah, I was trying to body block up the creep wave at the moment. It's a lot harder this off lane for Clockwork now, ever since they changed the way the creeps actually interact. Actually, that was only Fissure though. You can still body block them with the cogs, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you would say that every off lane benefited from, the equilibrium closer to the tower, right?
Yeah.
So,
SK's coming north. They're looking for June. If DDC can get himself a pick up, and June, he's out too far. That's a kill here. That should be first blood. Wait, where is... Okay, Telekinesis first, then the follow-up Burrow Strike. Not the best combo. Hoof Stomp will land, but Rabbit, the DPS with the Geminate, and the last attack from Rubik. One quick Fey Bolt. And the first blood gets spilled by LGD. At the same time as they try and initiate in towards this middle lane, Lynn just gets harassed back by both the Arcane Orb as well as the Concussive Shot. But they can't get close enough to find any type of kills. And even then, Yao is getting up in the face of Inflame, who has no more consumables left. He's burnt through everything down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I feel that the mid lane is going so well for LGD at this point that it really puts pressure on the enemy supports. It's like your mid is screaming, "I need ganks, I need ganks," and that will free up Yao on the bottom lane. And like you said, Inflame out of restorative at this point.
Yeah, and he can't harass a Clockwork back.
I mean, Clockwork is so low levels now compared. Like Puck could just essentially nuke him down once he gets to 5 or 6. Yeah. So Puck should be, or Yao should be somewhat aware of that. But Yao's gonna hit like I think 3 at the very least on this particular fight. If
there's a whole lot denies from Inflame, then yeah, basic 3 would be it. But he gets 103 points into it. At the same time, you notice too, this is something which we've got to keep in mind. Like SK helped to win middle lane up against the Morphling, just by like Invis Rune as well as like everything else. I say that Morphling is now actually in front of CS. But you've got DD who's about to do a triple stack farm as the Sand King. So you have to keep in mind that like you're still technically running a semi-jungle hero from LGD. And this is something which CIS have to keep in mind when they have an Ancient Apparition with only 54 points of experience, and Skywrath Mage is 2.5 levels in. Like, he's coming in for Yao, and the cogs go down from Yao. There's actually no rune there, and he actually locked himself in with his own cogs, and this could be some real trouble. With the Chilling Touch bonus damage, you've got another Arcane Orb. There's no cogs available in Yao. There goes your Concussive Shot. Just try and slow him down. Puck was all big up, but Yao ran a little bit higher. Into the salve. The Concussive Shot as well as the attack will follow him, but they will not get the kill. But it's more time wasted for these support heroes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference I think we pointed out as we had a big chat about the experience graph. It seems like every single game that LGD, not this game, but you know the game where brought up the level difference. It seems like the LGD support does a very good job in terms of climbing ahead, or at least staying close to the course, which is a big deal as we're seeing supports do more and more top lane. June gets harassed back a little bit by DDC. Seems like no follow-up of any ganks. Yeah, but back in the jungle, it's going to be DD continuously. He's actually ranked up that Sandstorm, which is becoming more and more of a norm now. And he's looking to, you know, jungle pretty aggressively.
Yeah. He needs to have the second level just because of the timing. It's not even the damage output, but even though that does help, it's the fact that you can 100% all the time be inside your Sandstorm.
Yep.
That's what lets you just like go straight through the jungle camp so damn quickly. And this should be his level. Actually, should be level 4.5. He gets out of this camp.
Yeah, looks about right. Personally, when I do this, the coolest thing is like hands off the keyboard, look around the map, you know,
go have a beverage,
go get a drink.
One weird thing though is like normally when you do this, I'm surprised he's in here because you can actually back up because of the radius of your Sandstorm. You can actually be up in this position and you still make them run out of here, but you get more damage as they run up into these regions here.
Yeah, it's a little bit more efficient, but yeah.
At the same time, it's
there's a creep just stuck here for whatever reason. Hey guys.
Hey, does that actually stop the camp from blocking because of his
we'll
position?
See in 3 seconds. I don't think it will.
If it does, SK is gonna be spitting chips. No, it doesn't. Okay. But someone randomly say, okay, ultimate scenario right now. You got Puck trying to juke it through the tree line, and he runs into the Satyr. can't get himself back out. It's like, wait, what? No. That was meant to be my way out of here. Look at DD now. He just moves over, takes another camp.
Yep. But this one is shared experience by the Centaur, who is just walking.
Well, then here comes Lin. He's so close into the dragon form. He needs a stunt, and he got it too, which means the Burrow Strike will now follow up. They waited as long as possible, so June will get the maximum stun time on him. At the same time, Clockwork goes down the bottom lane. So it looks like Skywrath as well as Puck in flame. He has to phase shift. Yep, there we go. Evades the damage on the way out from the bottom tower.
Yeah, the reason he tanked a couple of that is that if he phase shift a little bit earlier, that would have been Demon tanking the tower under with his 1 base armor. So it's good that he shared the damage a little bit. But meanwhile, tier 1 top here, normally you don't see this, a Dragon Knight that's rotating the push. Because normally he wants to push his own tower, but obviously he came in for the gank and might as well stay for the push.
Yeah, considering he had to use his dragon form to get the gank.
Yeah, and then now Black is pushing mid.
They'll take this. Like, Black's pushing this mid lane. It's a Morphling pushing a tower. It's like water,
not very fast.
It's water onto rocks. Eventually it'll corrode, but it takes some time.
Yeah.
And then Yao's able to pick up level 5 by coming into this mid lane too.
Now, hopefully we'll see a little bit of difference between Yao and Yao's clock compared to June's clock in game number 2. Because June was like, the entire game we were asking him, is he going to do anything? And then he had the Roshan steal, right? Like,
yeah.
But Yao, he had a very similar start, doing nothing for the team. In fact, he has 1 more point into Rocket Flare than June did.
The difference is in this lineup, as Centaur, there goes Weaver on the top lane. Looks like silence from Puck, but without a blink dagger. All right. Yeah, the difference between like the Clockwork in that game and this game is the fact that this Clockwork is able to actually lock down heroes. It's not like you got 3 heroes who have escape mechanisms. Like you got Ancient Apparition, Centaur, Skywrath Mage, as well as a little bit in way the Puck.
Not really on the Puck.
Not really, just a little bit. Like if you can keep that stun going, it's like, yeah. Phase Shift has animation time, right?
Nope.
No animation time?
It's instant.
In that case, I take it out. No, you can control 3 heroes.
And Flame does have a blink now, so... I'm also somewhat surprised that he actually maxes orbs. Obviously, that's generally the standard build, but generally against like a Weaver or a Blinker, I'm personally a bigger fan of like at least 2 points to your orb and then maxing Raining Rift by like level 8. But it's, you know,
in this one, it's probably them just going, we need to have like the orb damage instead. I actually suppose they're both 280.
No, they're the exact same damage.
Ah.
I guess the argument is that you have demons on the Skycraft Mage. He's going to provide the silence.
But if there's no difference, like I'm not seeing like a lower cooldown time or anything like that.
Well, the thing is, the orbs is much easier to harass the enemy behind, whereas Raining Rift has much smaller of AOE, right? So
yeah,
that's why generally on the mid lane you max the orb first, and has a better cooldown, I believe.
No, there's. Oh, you mean for Rift?
Rift versus
Rift is 12 seconds on orb, 16 seconds on.
Yeah. So you could spam a little bit more.
Looks like bottom lane prep is coming in. This time we won't miss the blink dagger or puck. I say missed it. He hasn't used that one yet. It was just for some reason. I still don't know how that weak would die on the top lane.
But yeah, also we have Clockwork. Level
Smoke
6.
movement from Lin. He's coming in, Burrow Strike, and they go on the Centaur. Into Dragon Form very quickly, and 110 life points. The Breed Fire never had to be used, so the nuke is still there from LGD, including like a new Fey Bolt. And because they're actually running around with Arcane Boots on this lineup, it's already over on the Rubik. They're able to just force down these towers, force their advantage even more. SK is checking every single nook and cranny. With that blink dagger of his, he knows he can just hide for a while. But also look what he did. I'm never 100% sure about this from SK's. When you go 3-point sand instead of getting your epicenter.
So I guess the argument is, you don't have enough mana anyways to use your epicenter. But honestly, your third point of Sandstorm is so necessary, especially after you got your blink dagger. I understand if you haven't got your blink dagger yet, your epicenter is not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
Because you need it to initiate.
But he had the blink.
He had the blink. And that means if you have the blink, you don't really need that extra point of Sandstorm to farm your blink. So, I mean, if there's a reasoning, I'm not understanding it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they got to kill regardless. Bottom lane. It was a blink, Burrow Strike into a Sandstorm for damage.
It's the damage of Sandstorm,
and then DDC lift him up. So, there's that.
Well, DDC also is walking around. This Rubik is just so powerful at this point. And like, I love this from Yao. Yo, Sand King, there's a double stack for you to farm up. He pings it out, so, yep. Blink in, straight to Sandstorm. Yeah, it's going to lead some of the experience. That's his finder's fee.
Yep.
But Rubik's walking around with so much control on level 6. And does he get Morph? He got Waveform. Either way, he doesn't give a crap.
There's no bad spell that you could take from Morphling. It's just so good. Like, there's some heroes in the entire game that you cannot take a bad spell. Wraith King comes to mind. It's always a guaranteed stun. Viper Strike, guaranteed.
Yep.
And in this case, for DDC, it's Morph, Waveform, or Replicate, man. It's all good.
Well, CIS, man, they're losing control of this game again. Like, this is what you were talking about before. If you go for a 40-minute control game, you're going to back LGD every single time.
Yeah.
CIS need to basically throw caution to the wind and find kills. And it's kind of like not for the want to try. Like, they came down to that bottom lane searching for a kill. LGD just beat them to the punch.
Yep. At the same time, you could argue that, this is Black style. In fact, he's going to get Raining Rift. He's going to get double silence up. That's a key kill.
There goes DD.
And that's going to, more importantly, hit your Skyraft Mage to level 5. He needs to level. He needs to hit level 6 ASAP. Same thing. How are we doing on AO's experience? He's... Man. The level difference is just appalling.
4-5, then a 6-7. But
Yeah.
this is what happens like when you're on the semi-jungler. And Rubik, he was actually like, he wasn't backing off from the Weaver. And that was the one downside for Rabbit, and probably the reason why he's still a little bit behind the experience of the Morphling, who now just gave over Morph to DDC. So we now have 4 strength heroes over an LGD. But the fact that like you had Weaver giving the experience to the Rubik. Rubik stayed on the lane with the Centaur, which is very close to the creep wave. So because of that, he found his very quick level 6. And because of these early towers, he found very early Arcane Boots.
Mm-hmm. Here comes the Epicenter being channeled on the top side. It's going to come right in against June.
Bomb.
Easy kill.
And then LGD focus towards the mid tower. And they will bring this tier 1 tower down.
Clockwork Hook's going to fly in. I heard it somewhere. And in fact, it's going to be going into the jungle. AO gets picked off. Well, they had the site coming in because of a ward deeper into enemy jungle. Black's going to get Burrow. We have a Dragon Tail coming in. They're trying to nuke him down. There's a lift as well, but he is strength morphing. Rabbit double silence up. He doesn't really care. In fact, they're going to give it a chase. They have sight on him.
They got the Weaver bug on him, so why not have a crack at him?
Yeah.
Rabbit's just going to Shikuchi up a little bit closer, and Black will go down. Meanwhile, back towards the middle lane, the cogs are being prepped up. Inflame gets burnt out a lot when he arrives here. He's going to walk a long way around. Now, Centaur also arrives when the cogs dissipate, but Lin, he's coming behind the lines, and a Burrow Strike in from the SK, caught out in flame. There's a Hoof Stomp to follow up though, but still 3 heroes down, Centaur's low on life, and Double Edge was stolen here from DD. But every other hero is now bailed out here. The SK died. June actually does get chased down by a rabbit inside the jungle, and that's a triple kill for the Weaver. 3,000 gold is currently sitting on this guy after they take the last tier 1 tower of CIS.
I just want to say that when you're teleporting 3 or 4 heroes under the tier 1, when the Sand King blinked in, it surprised me greatly. But that just goes to speak that LGD is, if they feel like they could play aggressive, they will play aggressive. They don't need to play a 40-minute game. Meanwhile, DDC dropping that double edge and wish... Well, actually, he can drop double edge for days now. He's got that strength morph. He's like, I'm good.
Should have enough life points to survive this one, shouldn't I? 1,600 gold, what does he even buy? Probably finish that Magic Wand would be a nice start. Yep, Magic Wand finished, straight up earned.
Yep. I'm surprised that he didn't pick up like an armor item, because he's already got so much HP. Like, I would go for Medallion myself.
Yep.
It helps, you know, your Weaver, your Dragon Knight a little bit.
It'll help when they go in for Roshan, finally.
Yeah. The passive armor, you know, when you're tanking it up in the front line.
And look at Rabbit's confidence too. He doesn't even feel like he needs the Ring of Health at the very, very start here. Just goes straight into the ultimate orb.
Sure. I mean, confidence or maybe fear against the silence is another way to put it.
One more life points to survive this one.
Yeah.
But then again, you got to start with those life points. But we've got a 4-man smoke up from LGD, and they're heading south. Now, there's nothing that's scouting this one out. They didn't see the smoke happen. However, the ping is out there from Skyward Major. Pretty sure that was on the mark. And they realize it too. Everybody is missing from LGD.
It's not so bad of a smoke gank per se, because all the waves are semi-pushed out, aside from the mid lane. But yeah, it's just everybody missing off the map. That should be a telltale sign.
Yeah. Rocket scouting in behind the tower. And LGD, like, okay, they don't find themselves a kill, but they know 100% they're going to kill off the tower.
Look at where DD is at right now. They might find themselves a kill still. Hiding him in the trees.
I don't know if that's really going to be enough, though, man. Like, an epicenter is going to cause some chaos, but CIS must commit to the fight. They must basically walk past this line if you're going to see a kill happen here. Now, fortification. Okay, are they committing to this? Like, concussive shot, just a little bit of slowdown on the clockwork. Puck has managed to move up, and the tower sitting just above deny range. But now with DK's attack, Lin has actually brought this tower within deny range.
Epicenter being channeled on the sideline here. They're going to go in right for Demon. Demon straight up dead. Tower is going to get last hit and inflame. Well, he's actually pretty fast. June blinks in stun. 2-man coil after a 2-man rift. They're going to try to blow through DDC, but the strength morph. He's tanky. He'll die eventually, but Inflame on the backline is going to get hook shot. He's phasing, but here comes Black. He has to wait for him. He's coming in hot, but it's going to be the Puck that dies first of all. And now Black's being chased. He's strength morphing away. He does have Replicate. Burrow Strike's going to come through. Does he have still mana enough to replicate out? He has 10 wand charge. He should be fine.
Yeah. Oh, then again, if they can get themselves another Blink Burrow Strike before Black can respond, they have to go in too deep for that one. But you're right, man. That Rubik was just sitting on the front lines. Like, the Cogs came in. That was really stalled up the fight here for CIS. The fact that these Cogs went down on a choke point again. That's why I'm like, it's not going to work unless they get high ground. And the Puck wanted to get involved. He was sitting up here in the tree line, and he got hit. He was up here and he got hit. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Because he couldn't blink himself down to be instantly part of the engagement anymore. So you had, unfortunately, this poor Centaur that had to jump himself in to try and then, like, save the day. It just became a mess.
It did. And this is where the worry begins during the drafting phase for me. LGD are starting to pick up that BKB. You got one on DK. Clockwork, he's got a mech, and might be BKB coming up next. And of course, Rabbit, he's going for his Lincolns first.
He's actually almost got the money to buy up the Perseverance. The recipe's already on the courier going to the shop.
Yeah, I just think that the damage is starting to falter apart for CIS. Black, on his farm check, he is also going for that Lincoln Sphere, but obviously much, much slower compared to that Weaver.
This kind of almost feels too late for Black to try and pick up a Lincoln Sphere. I know he kind of needs it, but there's so many other abilities over in LGD that will control him. I don't want to say he should rush a Skadi, but he kind of like a Mana Star may help him out a little bit more in these early stages. So I don't think he can go a defensive item if they want to have the DPS required, because that was what we were talking about. With all the other heroes from CIS, they needed a hero that could do DPS. And Morphling was meant to beat that. Unfortunately, Morphling can't do that DPS in burst form, so we can't go E-Blade up against this lineup.
I mean, he can if he has an E-Blade, like you said.
Yeah, but even then, like, up against the lineup of LGD,
There's 4 Strength Heroes.
They're all going to tank him.
Yeah.
So they really can't do anything with that. Now, Centaur, he can actually get himself a double hoof stomp on both Yao as well as DD. The Vortex comes out, just to also reveal the fact they know where they are.
They'll back it off.
Yeah.
I mean, usually LGD's in no hurry. If they don't feel like they could break high ground, they'll take it slowly.
They can just go for Roshan too soon.
Yeah.
Like, Rabbit's already sitting at 1,000 gold after finishing his Lincoln Sphere only a minute ago. If they just give him some time, the Desolator will then arrive over on the Weaver. Actually, would you see a Desolator for the Weaver, or would you actually want to see like the full defensive, get the beat KB?
I think since you're ahead, I think Deso is much a better choice, especially when you're starting to look for high ground. The armor value of these heroes from CIS are abysmal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the lack of armor on Skywrath Mage, on AA. I think you go for the Deso.
DDC. There's just a copy of the DK being made in middle lane, and I'm pretty sure DDC was really hoping that he was capable of getting a copy here.
Oh, replicate?
Yeah, if he can steal it. Because he's sitting so close, but he also doesn't want to extend himself out too far, because DDC's at a point where he knows, as long as he plays it safe for the next like few minutes, he should be able to pick up his Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
And having that form of initiation is just going to be too good to just like pass up.
Maybe a Force Staff wouldn't be bad. Like forcing your teammates away from that Mystic Flare, or maybe a Centaur Stomp. It just depends on whether you want to think defensively or offensively. But again, they're winning so much. Maybe just a Blink is
just a straight up offensive.
Yeah, straight up better.
Oh. Rabbit continues to farm up on the top lane. Has she put anything on the courier yet? No, it's because he bought a TP scroll. But in the last 2 minutes since I checked to him, he's now got the money for his first Mithril Hammer. So he's still looking very, very good. And Black, is that Lincoln Sphere over on the courier? No. And it is going to be a Lincoln Sphere build from him.
Mm-hmm.
And now Rabbit's going to just force him off the top lane. Or Blink Burrow very quickly into the Strength Morph here for Black. So he'll survive this, but it really just removes his presence from the top lane. Then again, I say that, Yao's about to hook shot in, and they actually got him now. With the Cogs burn back, he has to waveform down. Rabbit's going to give up the chase. Meanwhile, the Tier 2 tower is still surrounded by 5 heroes. Centaur's trying to get some kind of trade-off here on the bottom lane to try and take the Tier 1 tower.
I mean, they have Glyph available. They're not even going to get that tower because Sand King's already back. Sand King, in fact, has Epicenter. So if Centaur stays for one more wave, and looks like he will, he might just die. Epicenter being channeled on the bottom lane is going to be Blink, Burrow to follow through, Epicenter and the tower shot. I thought that he needed Weaver, but it looks like with the tower alone, he was going to get the kill.
Solo kill for Sand King.
Yep.
Even if Centaur was able to start to run himself away from that with a 4-staff over on DD,
yeah,
he would have just kept chasing him the whole way. Like, there was actually no way to get out of that one. But this is also like CIS. Like, the Centaur pushed it too far. He had no vision on the enemy side of the jungle apart from like this one observer ward on top lane. I guess the only vision they have inside the enemy jungle, and the other one is just like watching the top rune area. Mm-hmm. They see nothing on the bottom. They're blind completely inside their own jungle. The fresh observer ward went down closer towards the mid lane, but that's it.
Normally, when the enemy team is pushing your Tier 2 tower top as 5, you think to yourself, well, they're all pushing our tower. It's a safe push on the bottom tower, right?
Yeah, they accept the trade.
And that's where DD punished them, so.
And you're not even going to be looking, like DD, like we saw him when they're pushing the Tier 2 tower on the bottom lane, he was hiding inside the trees. Mm-hmm. So even if you want to come out and find him, you got to use like Puck Orbs or AA ultis in order to actually scout that kind of stuff out. Now, Puck is coming over. There's a haste rune with Blink Dagger, and Roshan's not fully dead yet. And Yao stands up on the high ground. Hook shots in, and he goes instantly in. He actually managed to grab 2 heroes here, so both AA as well as Centaur drop. The Skywrath Mage ulti did not make it any easier for them, however. While Puck, he's got bugs in the back tail of him, and what was stolen? No, it's a phase shift, yay. That's all he's really got. But a Blink Dagger in by DD, with the Burrow Strike, with the Fade Bolt. They also lost the Skywrath Mage getting caught out in the trees. And Black is the only one to survive for CIS right now. They'll go back in LGD, finish up Roshan, and then look to move towards the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, they could even go for high ground straight up if they want to, but since Roshan's so low anyways, might as well just finish it. And look at the way that Dragon Knight's building himself. He's getting straight Vid Booster. The game is going to be finished soon. That's what LGD thinks to himself. I don't think he's thinking about a heart right now.
Let's just get high side.
Yeah.
Get high ground. That's all they need to do.
And there's that Weaver, Deso. So good for pushing that high ground.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to start to rip apart heroes like Skywrath. Like, we're still... Do we dare bring up the hero board, man, with the levels? To see the three heroes to CIS?
Just old school cast it. Leave the gold graph hidden. Let people make their own decision about it. But they're definitely getting wrecked. Vanguard sanking. He ain't dying either.
This one works a lot better than a PL.
He's going to survive this.
There and now, okay.
Just
Lumi,
kidding.
Jinx, cast a Jinx. Did you?
Just kidding.
Did you?
I mean, I thought he could force that away, but you know.
He could have, but it was a good trap. It was a good trap by CIS. Now Rabbit, it looks like he doesn't care. The SK is dead. Like, he just attacks quickly in towards the Morphling, who now waveforms out Dragon Tail. I thought that was going to come quick enough before he was able to replicate back. For some reason too, June, okay, there's just like blood spilt. Was that the Rubik? Did he take double edge? No.
I'm not sure what that
I just saw a blood patch like back inside the well. It's like time of the month for Centaur.
You know what? DDC has a replicate, so he makes a DK of his own. And goes up the hill and starts splashing that tower.
It's a nice way to do it. And then, of course, you got to remember too, Rubik's got this Blink Dagger, so it's an initiation too. Hoof Stomp out to the Weaver. Remember, he can soak up everything CIS have because he's got the Agassi model. They don't really care about that. Right now, LGD just want to force the towers. SK is coming back in, so LGD also happy not to fight just yet. The SK is now in range that LGD can initiate. But they're fine with this now. But the DK form is wearing off. And then Hoof Stomp, they go in for Rabbit, and in comes SK. Burrow Strike goes on the Ancient Apparition. Very quickly silenced up there from the Skywrath Mage. The 4-staff down, evades the AA ulti. Now Rabbit, the Aegis Immortal will trigger here. But the BKB is also gone from Lin. They couldn't finish off June. Clockwork looking for the hook shot. Okay, that was a little bit deep. But they bring down the tower. LGD probably aren't feeling enough confidence to keep this going. No. Even then, Rabbit, okay, he's saying screw it. We bring down the range racks. We came here to bring down the house, and they're going to attempt it.
Yeah, it's dropping very low very quickly. One last hit all they need, but they don't get it. Huge ultimate's going to come in. Yao's going to tank a little bit with his Blade Mail turn on. Epicenter on the back line here, and looks like June's going to go down as a result. Range racks gets cleaned up, and that is going to be opening to the door of the melee racks. And because their tier 2s are down, I think they just go to the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, they can go for doubles right now if they want to. They did lose the DK, however. So at this point, when LGD is sitting here going, well, CIS have already taken one game off us. This was an insult and a disgrace. So now we must make sure that it is not actually happening again.
Maybe not that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, they play it well. I'm surprised that Rabbit just took that DD. I mean, DK still have a double down, a bottle, right? Should have just maybe passed a bottle over, or DD would win the game faster.
At the same time, though, I think LGD is sitting in a position where they're like, well, we've already won the game.
Yeah, like
that's 16, almost 17,000 net worth on a Weaver, who's got another 2.8k gold up his sleeve. So yeah, they have no real problem at all. Morphlee's coming back in. There's tier 1 tower in him. They have a score to settle. But all he gets, Inflame, he jumps in. That's still a DD Weaver. No matter how they silence him, that's still a DD Weaver. And DDC, he triggers the Lincoln Sphere. June will jump in. Rabbit, get in there and help your teammate, man. Wow. DDC, he's got a Hoof Stomp stolen from before. He's going to try and steal the Centaur ulti, and what did he just get? He just got Stampede. They're coming in. Burrow Strike on top of June. The Skywrath Mage ulti will fly out, but already they've got one down. Rabbit, he will die now. The Ancient Apparition ulti would have finished him off if that last attack from the Morphling didn't do so. But these Vortex are making it very difficult to follow in. But DD, look at the damage from Rabbit. One charges will keep AO alive a little bit longer, but then the last hit will come in. It's a double kill for Rabbit, and they got another one. Demons, DDC, it's a perfect control here. Demons will get dropped. This will be a double raxing. And I don't know if they even want to call out the GG right now, because Black is currently, well,
he's doing what he can.
He's creep skipping.
He's doing what he can for the team, but
because he can't fight on the bottom lane anyway.
No. The bottom tower is going to go down. The range racks first, maybe. No, the melee max first.
Blink, Burrow, they got him already. They triggered the Lincoln Sphere with the Dragon Tail, and then they follow up, and that is now Rubik getting some kills. He's actually stolen concussive shot in this fight too, and then June locked in inside the cogs. Morphling bites back into this one. The AOD will fly out, hitting on both DDC as well as DD, but while Lin's here on the front lines, they just don't want to come out any further. Again, Hoof Stomp stolen, so DDC, he's got Blink Dagger if he can stop getting attacked. Off cooldown, so he can jump in for initiation. I know he's searching for Black, and there it is. Blink, Hoof Stomp, Tully gets his pick up, they walk out of the Skywrath Mage ulti. Black is down after his buyback. They catch out AO, and that is it. GG. LGD will be the #1 team qualifying out from the Chinese qualifier of TI4. And CIS, still massive props to them. They beat down the second favorite, which was Dreamtime, in the match earlier today. They will still go, but in the wildcard tournament.
Yeah, CIS maybe should feel much more confident about themselves. I don't think people will rate them being one of the best teams in China, but they're looking like it right now.
Yeah.
And the victory over LGD, Game 3, that's one of the more impressive victories I've seen in quite a while.
Man, they can be very happy with that one at least. For now, though, we're going to actually wrap up our live stream here. You can tune in tomorrow. We go in for the European qualifier side tomorrow at 12 CEST time. You'll find the live stream right here on this channel. If you also want
For that,
yep.
we have Puppy and Kuroki, and they're looking excited to cast some games.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be interested to actually hear those casts. Wonderful. We'll get those guys on stream. And of course, if you want to follow what I'm going to be doing tomorrow as well, I'm actually going to be doing it from here at 6 a.m. So same time as we started today, the Mars TV tournament's happening. That's going to be on the back end of this Chinese qualifier. So if you want to tune in for that one, that's starting tomorrow morning. I'll be over on Join at a Green doing that one. Whole brand spanking new channel for that. So my plugging is over. Check that out. Up to the EU hub for the social stream. We'll be having some fun. Thanks for watching, peoples.